Hello there. This is Alcon Raycon. Another one of these very exciting EPL matches between Liverpool and our friends who have just been fighting their way through is Everton. Now, why should that have been such a great game? Because Everton has not been doing as well. They haven't been improving, but they have not been doing as well. Liverpool is known to do reasonably well at all times, and one expected this, especially now that they were not having a particularly good period of time. But they had their full team. They had a very good team. They had their forward line and Firmino, Mane, and Salah. They had Wijnaldum in the middle of the field as well. They had Thiago, and in the back of it, they were pretty comfortable with Henderson and Robertson and Alexander. One would not have expected the affair to even a one-sided affair, which it wasn't. I'd give credit to both these teams. To Carlo Ancelotti, I have the greatest respect for him, and it was interesting to see the manner in which he has used this team today and probably has been using it in recent times. Jurgen Klopp has been in a little bit of a confusion because he doesn't seem to be too confident in his own players. And what did we see? In the early part of the game, they didn't get up on time, and they conceded a goal in the 4th minute. And this may have done some shaking in their part. But when we look at the game and we realized that Everton, under Ancelotti, has planned that game. They've done it extraordinarily well. And these are two great coaches, in my opinion. These guys have set the way that Liverpool should play. They're not going to leave space for them in the middle field. They're certainly not going to allow Mane and Salah to come from the sides of the field. Firmino was playing just a little bit back, so he was not really in the fray. Now, in the first half, it appeared as though there was no answer to what Everton was doing. They were keeping the ball in the opponent's half of the field. They were getting it up the side. They were getting shots at goal. And although the score was 1-0, up to half-time, it did not appear to me that Liverpool had really come to what they want them to do. And what has happened? He came out, and I was impressed with the change made. And Liverpool started to have a go at them and put them into their own half of the field. Their goalkeeper had to be brilliant with 2 or 3 saves. But at the same time, Everton did not give in. They've got some players in the center of the field, which I admire very much so. Although they're not high-profile players, they're very good players. And they continued and kept going and going and going until the pressure brought a penalty for them and a second goal. Now, what do you think about two teams like that? Going into a game, Liverpool is way behindhand in points and everything else. Their performances have not been as good. And I ask the question, why would it be so for that period of time? These are formidable players. They have been playing under him for the past 2 years. The only one, Van Dijk, is out of it, and his defense was maybe not as good as Van Dijk should have been there, because the first goal that was scored was an easy through pass that the defense left itself alone, and it went in there and McCarlson got the goal. But in truth and fact, Klopp uses his brain all the time. You watch him and see the changes of pattern in his game, and the game turns from when it's not in his favour and it goes into his favour. Not so this time. Ancelotti is as serious as a judge, and he's making a look at them. He's making changes that are clever. When Carlson scored the goal and played for a while, he got tired and he changed him. He put on somebody who was fresh, who would keep that ball up in the opponent's half of the field, which he did. At the end of it, Liverpool lost by 2-0. It is not the result I'm very much interested in, not interested in any way. It is the refusal of Liverpool to get better. They have played far too good football in the last year or two to be producing what they're doing at this point in time. There's a little bit of reality in the way they play. They don't change their pattern. Mane comes down the left side all the time. Salah goes down the right, hoping that he would get away to get onto his left foot to shoot. None of the teams are allowing him to do it again. Mane does not have, if he goes out there, he can't come in because they're going to force them back up the line all the time. They took their midfield and they really were quick. They were tackling quickly. They're putting the pressure on to the first four at the back of Liverpool. And when it got there, they backed off. And they clustered the middle of the field and in their half of the field as well. So the kicks had to be long. And they won most of them. And it paid for them because they were quick in counter-attacking and building quickly with 3 and 4. And their fitness level was fantastic, which means that they came back in a rush and got it. They got the result. Congratulations, Carlos Ancelotti. And for a moment in time, I feel a bit of sorrow for Jurgen Klopp simply because of the fact that for the second time I'm making comments, or maybe his body language is telling me I don't know what to do. I hope he finds that out pretty soon. But it was a very good game indeed.